Father, I want to talk about spiritual warfare. I want to talk about demons and how to approach them rightly, what they are. I want to talk about beauty, and obviously we will see where the Lord leads this conversation. But I wanted to first bring up the Screwtape Letters. So before we were filming, just now, we were talking about C.S. Lewis. One of my favorite books from Lewis is the Screwtape Letters, and it's a book of an elder demon who's actually counseling and talking to a younger demon on how to torment a Christian. And the main thing, one of the main takeaways from this book that I received was the demon was warning the younger, do not be seen. Cause irritation. Like, be as irritating to the Christian as you possibly can. Hollywood, we're in California, so we know, portrays the demonic as a beast with, red horns and tail and a pitchfork. While he can manifest in that way, how do you see the demonic? How have you experienced demons? Is it how Hollywood presents him? Not just by the physical incarnation, but even by the way he acts upon culture, as like the ripping open of earth or coming down from the sky to torment a city in that sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll tell you, like Saint John, in his first letter, he says that we should explore all the spirits and see if they're from God. And
right.
check if they're from God.
Right.
So he gives us a warning that spirituality in general, spiritual world, is actually possible to be not from God. And therefore, the demons in modern days, they are very subtle. Like, we don't see demon possessions as we read about them in the scriptures, that it was a demoniac that lived in the tombs and was bound with chains and shackles, and people were afraid of them, and Christ showed up and cast the demons, legion, out of them and into the swine. That all that narrative. They're just as dangerous, or even more, because they are subtle. They're quiet. They are. It's another story from another. Not C.S. Lewis, but a saint. I believe it's from Philokalia, if I am not mistaken. That older demon sends younger ones to tempt the people, and they come and they report, and they say that, I converted like 5 and 10 and 15 and whatever. And finally he gets sick of them, and he says, like, you don't know what you're doing, so look at me. And he goes to people and he comes back and he says, like, you see, I converted all of these multitudes, and I basically converted them by telling them that they have no time. In other narrative, he said, like, I convinced them that I don't exist. Okay? So basically, people right now, they think that they have no time for God. They have time for everything else in this world.
Right.
For career, for wealth, for we'll make tons of excuses. Like, you look at the simple thing is like, you talk to parents and they'll say, why don't you bring your kids to church on Sunday? Oh, Father, like, we have a football training, we have a ballet rehearsal, we have a music recitals, we have all of this stuff, everything on Sunday.
Right.
But most important thing, they have no time for.
Right.
So they have no time. And that's exactly how he works. He works quietly to convince us that, they have no time. We have no time. We are too busy. Other thing is again, to convince us that he doesn't exist. That he doesn't exist, so nothing to fear. He'll just quietly will come and overtake our life, and we will willingly agree to it. In the narratives that we see from gospel, when Legion is cast out into the herd of swine, we learn the thing that no demon has a power over us without us letting him to have power over us. Mm-hmm. He asked Christ, "Why did you come to torment me?" Then he asked him, don't hurt me, but let me go into this herd of swine.
Right.
He didn't go by himself.
Right.
He had to have a permission. We believe that coming to liturgy and receiving Holy Communion, we receive the living God into ourselves. So he lives in us. God lives with us, within us. So if he lives in us, and we let him live in us, it means that we willingly participate in the life of Christ.
Right.
And therefore, he is in us, and he can command within us demons to go away from us. So this guy, he's taking a different strategy. Mm-hmm. He's afraid of God. Mm-hmm. And he is afraid of us because we have Christ in us. So he starts tempting us with wealth, with stuff that we spend time, all of our lives, achieving something in our life. And in the end, I think I was telling in a previous interviews that being in this parish in 10 years, I had over 300 funerals. I didn't see one person yet taking any of earthly possessions with him. It doesn't matter what kind of diplomas you have and what kind of professor you were, right, and what kind of nothing. It's your good deeds or not. Is it people remembering you by your deeds, right, or they just dig you into the ground and forget you next day because you did nothing in this life.
Yes.
Worthy of remembering.
Right.
So here's our priorities in life. That's fighting the demons of this world, which is manifesting to us every moment of this world. Very quietly, very kind of, I wouldn't say that it's gently, but in a sneaky way.
Right.
In a sneaky way.
Right.
And but if we set our priorities straight, if we choose God before this world, he can do nothing to us.
Right. It's remarkable. Athanasius on the Incarnation, he talks about how when Jesus entered the world, it changed everything. Even with the demonic, you look at paganism, you look at the religions prior to Christ. Athanasius makes a remarkable point, especially being so close to it, comparatively to us. He talks about how these demons were able to run rampant. People honored them. They had power. But when God came onto the scene through the Incarnation, when Jesus was walking the earth, it has changed the narrative completely now that they run and hide. Like they've completely lost their power. He uses the analogy of a false king or a steward who is cruel. I think of Lord of the Rings. You have this steward who is not true, who's not really the king. And so when Aragorn comes on the scene, are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yes. So when Aragorn comes on the scene, he's I'm the king. Denethor is terrified, and he literally goes mad for a many number of reasons, but because he was not the king. He could not handle the role. And these demons, the demonic, they have acted, but now they play a different role. And I love what you're saying. This isn't a theology, it's a movie, but the usual suspects, The greatest trick the devil ever played was tricking the world that he doesn't exist. I think this applies to the Western world,
Well, it's not. I think it applies to all the world,
Yes.
because we like to divide Western,
Right.
Eastern. It doesn't matter. I mean, like, all the world is a world of materialism in
Yes.
a one or other way.
Yeah, you're right.
Ultimately, you look at like world of Islam.
Correct.
I mean, it's not like they are. I mean, like, if you read their theology, I mean, and their rules, it's very clear that you should not harm people of book. You should not harm Jews or Christians,
Right.
because this is a people of book. And if you read again, Quran is only relative if you read Bible before.
Right.
Without Bible, it doesn't have any foundation.
Right. It's not just a preface. It is the foundation of.
It's the rest of it is like, basically a code of some kind of moral living
Right.
for people of this kind of area. And when I tell to Muslim people that, do you know that Muhammad was actually baptized by a Christian monk, and they just for them it's revelation. For them it's absolutely revelation that it was he was baptized. It was not quite, Orthodox monk,
Right.
but he was a monk who believed in Christ. And, and it's basically all of that faith, I mean, like there, as it manifested right now, what is it about? Is it Muhammad? Is it Allah? Not really. It's their cultural experience of it. So it's materialistic.
Yeah.
You look at the wars that are happening right now.
Right.
I mean, like, people abuse they say that we are about traditional values. Like, I mean, like, it's a most shameful war that right now happening in my homeland in Ukraine.
Right.
Most shameful, because all of a sudden, like, what became the reason? You listen to the people, political people or religious people, they say that it's a war against homosexuality. What do you mean?
Right.
You're going to kill people
They're saying that.
for
crazy.
something?
Right.
So it's okay to kill people because they don't have some kind of traditional values, and you kind of start on you know some people who are saying that, and their lifestyle, and you know that this is not true. This is because they live that kind of life.
Right.
Their values, as my spiritual father said, they defend their values in the Swiss banks. That's where their values is. This is just excuse. This is to fool people. God is love. God is love. And I remember the words of Patriarch Pavle of Serbia when war in Serbia was happening, and he all of a sudden he says that if at least one person has to die for Serbia to be Serbia, I mean, I rather know Serbia not to be there. Because it's not worth one human life. So demon works, he is exploiting Christianity right now.
Yeah.
He is exploiting Christian messages right now. Christ is meek and humble and gentle of heart. Christ does not need our tanks and machine guns to defend his values.
Yeah.
This is demonic.
Yeah.
This is absolutely demonic, and people are fooled by this so-called Christian values, when instead of loving the sinner and hating the sin, they start hating the sinner. And they, in secret, they practice sin.
Yeah.
Same very people. You know, that's shame. That's absolute shame, and people are fooled by it.
Right.
And that's what demonic presence in our world is. You know, we have to be very careful. And remember, when we come to church, we don't come to hate, we come to love. Christ said himself in Scripture, we read, that who is without sin, let him throw the first stone. And nobody threw the stone because they knew that they have sins.
Right. Right.
Same thing with us. All of us have sins. And I'm not defending any kind of sin.
Right.
But I am, as a Christian, called to love the sinner, to minister to the sinner, to pour the oil and wine on the sinner, to put sinner on my beast, take him to the inn and pay the innkeeper.
Right.
You know, whatever needs to be done to protect that wounded person from robbers that are demons.
Right.
You know, that's our ministry. You know, so, you know, I really, the Lord of the Ring actually, you know, as you say, I grew up in Soviet Union, and I in a school, it's actually interesting story, because I went to the special school with the English as a main language to be learned.
Yeah.
And you would think that, I mean, like, what would they give? What's a better kind of, what they would give us to read as a material to learn English? It's for kids, like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds. In our program, it was a King Lear. I mean, like, do you think that an 11, 12-year-old, 14-year-old can comprehend the King Lear? I don't think so. I don't think I have brains at that age. But you give me something like Lord of the Ring to read?
Yes.
I would relate to it. I would love the language.
Amen. Amen.
And the quality of the language is same.
Right.
It's compatible, right?
Yeah, it's remarkable, yeah.
But they didn't, because they wanted us. It's like in Soviet Union, it was like, we have these schools where children can learn English.
Right.
But in fact, they did everything for us to hate the language, because they did us, they give us most boring and most kind of dull for our age material.
Right.
You know, so when I was like 25 when the movie came out. I mean, like, I don't know. I was like, and I watched the movie, and you know, it was theater was packed, and I ended up on the first row, so it was like this. And I came out. I was like, it was really like, I was at awe. I mean, like, wow.
Right.
That's so. First thing that I go to a library. I get the book. I take a week off work, and I read the book. You know,
you're a good man. Yes, yes.
And I was absolutely amazed by message, by quality of the language, about narrative, and therefore, and for me, it felt like real. It's felt like exactly the thing that this world does not appreciate, that most insignificant person has most significant role.
Right.
The most that most insignificant person is every one of us.
Correct.
You know, who said that evil dwells not where the people kind of support it, but where people ignore it. I mean, like, and say that it's, you know, everything is okay. Well, you know, that when people don't oppose it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening now. So
Right.
we have to oppose evil.
Right. Yeah, it's so interesting you bring that up. I was going to bring up Tolkien's philosophy. He's someone that I've spent a lot of time with this year in secondary works and in his primary works with Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. Tolkien had a very interesting philosophy on the demonic. Tolkien, J.R. Tolkien, the guy who wrote The Lord of the Rings, and C.S. Lewis, who wrote Narnia and the Screwtape Letters, as mentioned before, They were very good friends, best of friends. And so if you actually look into the Screwtape Letters, Lewis actually dedicated the book to Tolkien. And Tolkien was so angry. He was angry. He was upset at Lewis. He said, Lewis, you have dived too deep into the demonic. You've gone too far into the dark. Tolkien's philosophy of approaching darkness, of approaching evil, was that it was just not too much, but it didn't matter. It just is. And he never wanted to spend time with it. So when you read The Lord of the Rings, Sauron, you really don't know a whole lot about him. You don't know what his face looks like. There's mystery there besides that he is evil. Of course, the Nazgul as well, like these unmen, these evils. They just are evil, and you must destroy it. And of course, you mentioned The Hobbit. So The Hobbit, I think, is one of my favorite characters ever written in literature. Because The Hobbit, and this is, again, Tolkien's philosophy, The Hobbit was normal. And we view normal as something to be disgraceful or as something common, and that common is just gross. We want to be remarkable people. I think it's because we're surrounded by so much of it, especially with social media. There's just like this tease of fame constantly. Like, you could blow up, you could do this, you could do that. All this being said, Tolkien's understanding of the normal was that it was the thing that held evil back. I'd love to get your thoughts on this here in a second. The Hobbit was a simple creature, was common. He loved to drink ale. He loved to farm. He loved to, prop his feet up and smoke a pipe. And it was like this romanticized version of the Englishman in the Edwardian era. And it was because the normal ceased. So we look at Gondor, the mighty kingdom of men. They slowly began to not do their job. This is really fascinating. There's 2 towers outside of Mordor that were placed there after the first war against Morgoth and Sauron. And they were towers to guard against the coming of evil once again, because Mordor was the home of the great evils of Middle-earth. But men slowly didn't do their job in protecting these towers. The stewards, the false kings, they slowly got themselves wrapped up in affairs that they did not need to. They became drunk on wine. They became lazy. And so evil came from the darkness, the unnoticed. Evil was able to rise in the shadows. And those towers of Gondor became the gateposts of Mordor, the most formidable boundaries in Middle-earth, because men didn't do their job, because men forgot to show up every single day. And there's many reasons why The Hobbit, even, you could say Smeagol, being a hobbit, destroyed the ring, like why it was that. And even, it's so funny, even the destruction of the ring, Frodo didn't do it. And it tormented him for the rest of his life. He couldn't drop it. It was Smeagol who bit off his finger and fell in. That's pretty remarkable. I don't want to talk about Tolkien too much. I feel like I talk about him so much.
The point is that what we have to realize,
right,
that, as you said, that according to the scripture, according to the Old Testament, and what we believe in, that's exactly it.
Right.
That man who was created to be the crown jewel of creation,
right,
and to care for all the creation and protect it, and he was protected himself,
right,
failed to keep a very basic commandment, and let evil into its reality. And as a result,
good description,
became the slave of evil.
Correct.
We are, and now, so Christ himself had to come again and show us what a true humanity is.
Right.
He, God, who created everything, had to belittle himself to the point of creation, and never mind just to live, but to be crucified, humiliated once again, spat on, but he actually lured the evil.
Right.
Evil swallowed him and exploded.
Right.
You know,
There you are.
and given us opportunity to again fight evil within ourselves.
Amen.
You know, I don't have to fight evil in you. I have to fight evil in me.
Yes.
If I can conquer evil in myself, I mean, like, say, one of the beloved saint of the Russian church, Saint Seraphim of Sarov, he said, like, contemplate, collect the gifts of the Holy Spirit within you, and thousands around you will be saved. In other words, if you are good, your goodness will manifest itself to other people, and other people will be in it. Just today we served the liturgy of another great saint of the church, Saint Basil the Great. And one of my favorite, absolutely favorite line from there, and make evil into good by your ultimate goodness. It's like mind-blowing.
Yes.
Why? Because that's what I have to do. I just have to let God act in me. If I let him act in me, I will be able to do everything. Because ultimately, he is going to help me to shield myself from evil and to manifest nothing but good. We are reactive. We react to evil by evil. You know that, I mean, like, it's scary to which point we think that we are doing good, but in the end we are forcing somebody to do good. You cannot force anybody to do good. Lord didn't force us to. He gives us a choice.
Right.
And that choice has to be chosen by us.
Right.
And kept by us.
Right.
And, you know, because evil, as you yourself said, I mean, like, why Frodo couldn't do it?
Couldn't do it.
Because that even you know, that little bacteria of evil multiplies us.
Right.
It multiplies. We think that we're doing all of this stuff, and all of a sudden, like, I start hating Smeagol, I start hating, you know, somebody else. Don't hate him. Feel pity on him.
And that's what saved. That's what saved the world, right?
Look at him. Pity. You are him.
Yes.
You are him.
Yes.
Feel sorry for him.
Yes.
You know, and minister to him.
Yes.
You know, give him food. Give him. Don't let him eat raw fish. I mean, like, give them that bread that elves presented to you. I mean, like,
yeah.
And that's it. What that bread is. That bread is communion. That's the body and blood of Christ.
Right. I was reading Peter Kraft, and he talks a lot about Tolkien, and I feel like he's given me permission to nerd out even more, speaking of the metaphysics of, and the theology of Middle-earth, and he talks about the unman, the undoing of man, of existence, and this is why Smeagol is so fascinating to me. And I also want to talk about my conversion, because it has a lot to do with Smeagol. Smeagol was the unhobbit. It was the undoing. Gollum in Smeagol, specifically in the Two Towers, there was a war, and Smeagol seemed to win his original being, his original purpose, who he really was, because Frodo was the first one to call him Smeagol, you know? All that being said, I love your point too. We are Smeagol. We are Gollum, actually. We are the evil. We are the one who is corrupted. Peter Kraft, he talks about when speaking about the unman, when Adam and Eve took the fruit, they took a bite out of it. The fruit took a bite out of them. You spoke about Adam, the failure of Adam. G.K. Beale, he's a biblical scholar. He talks about the words from Adam, which is steward and multiply. Steward there actually is an interesting word. It's a militaristic guard. It's a guarding of Adam. It's the Garden of Eden. So Adam was actually tasked to militaristically guard Eden. And he failed in that. And in that failure, he became So Christ, like you said, I'm trying to like keep up because you're saying so much remarkable stuff. Christ comes back. He's the second Adam. He is the undoing of the failure of Adam. He was, and he is the partnership between God and man, being God, truly God and truly man. He is the perfection. Now, regarding my conversion, I think you'll find this interesting in context, this entire conversation. I was watching The Passion of the Christ, and I grew up in a Christian home. I knew the gospel. When I was in third grade, I quoted John 3:16 as my talent show. So I'm Christian, okay? and I was watching The Passion of the Christ, and I saw Jesus begin to get whipped. And I saw his body become torn apart. I was 17 years old. And it was the first time in my life that I ever understood the gospel. And something happened to me. I began to vomit. I began to gag, literally. As I'm watching the television, it was 1 a.m., I began to scrunch up and back away from the TV. And I realized how evil I am. We're speaking of demons. Demons do a good job in removing that evil. And this is what I appreciate about, you could say, creedal Christians. Yeah, they recognize, oh, Lord, have mercy on me.
I'll tell you about my experience with the same film.
Yes.
Again, same thing. Theaters were packed.
Yeah.
And I ended up sitting in not in the first, but I think third row.
Okay, good.
But
good.
still like this.
Yeah, a little more like this.
You know, when film was over and lights started kind of coming up, I was nor here on earth nor in heaven. I didn't know where I was, but I remember that everything was like in slow motion for me. Tears were going through my eyes. I mean, like, you know, I was just crying, and I was a big grown-up man. You know, I read that story many times. I heard that story even more times. You know, what came to my mind that it's interesting because, I mean, Mel Gibson's production company called Icon, I said, like, this is a modern icon of Christ's suffering.
Right. So as a Protestant,
you know, to me, it was like, you know, people were saying, "Oh, it's too Western presentation to that."
Right.
I said, like, doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's just like, it's what this society needs to see, to understand.
We do need to see.
Because we don't understand that what sacrifice was given for us to be able to continue to live and to change ourselves, to reach transfiguration of our human being, to give to take what he gave us, Christ. And honestly, you know, that experience probably was one of most profound spiritual experiences that I had in that decade.
Yes.
You know, and one other thing that it's interesting for me, I mean, like, you're talking about words and about Adam. You know, the first thing that Adam experienced as he failed to be that guard is fear. It's right there. He started hiding.
Right.
Then he felt ashamed.
Yeah, I was going to say shame. Yeah.
So fear, shame, which is not our natural, not God-given qualities of humanity. Most frequently, Christ tells apostles, do not be afraid.
Right.
Do not be afraid.
That's good. That's a good
And there, first thing, he starts hiding. He who communicated with God on a regular basis, all of a sudden, like when he realizes that he failed, he hides.
Right.
And then he lies.
Right.
And then he goes farther. He blames God for everything. He said, like, it's not me, it's her whom you gave me. It's your fault. Isn't it what we're doing now? We blame everybody for everything. Why? I just today I received a question for next interview, and it's why God allows death of young people and wars and stuff like that? God doesn't allow that. We do that. We do that. We introduced this, as I said, bacteria or virus of evil into our reality. In the same way, we perverted our reality, and we don't even want to know the real reality.
We don't.
Because real reality is here. Come to Divine Liturgy, and you will get a glimpse. You will get a glimpse of real reality, of real humanity, where is no evil, no demonic. You will know the real spirituality, not that spirituality fallen, but you will have experience of glorified spirituality, and existence that does glorification of God and thanksgiving to God for everything good that He gives us. If I can only captivate that every moment of my life, paradise is here.
Now, this leads me to want to ask you a question. This is remarkable. Dostoevsky says, beauty will save the world. You mentioned the sanctification of the soul, that if we look inward and we act correct every day, we show up, that beauty, the re-beautification, the sanctification of our soul will then affect others. We will then be what Christ says in the Beatitudes, you be a light on the hill. You be a light. How hard is it for a light, for a candle to be a candle? Like ontologically, it just burns. It is, and it produces light. That healing, the beautification, the overcoming the demonic. What practically can a person do to achieve such simple, like a candle burning, light, yet such complex of becoming a light? Because when I look at Christ, and when I look at what happened to me when watching the Passion of the Christ, I was lit in that moment, when I recognized the utter death in myself. That's what happened. That's why I felt like Gollum. I felt like what Peter Craft would describe as the unman, the undoing of what I actually was. Adam failed. I failed. And this was being revealed to me. Paul says that the wages of sin is death. I experienced that death, but it produced something into me. But there is a sense of stewardship now of that flame, of that light. There is a sense of working out your salvation with fear and trembling. So all of this being said, what is an actual question that you can answer instead of a bunch of statements with some questions? How does a person re-beautify themselves?
What is a beauty? Can I answer with a question? What is a beauty?
Is this rhetorical, or would you like me to answer?
No, I would like you to answer if you can.
I think beauty is Jesus Christ.
The beauty, you're right.
Yeah.
Beauty, in that sense, is one of the names of God.
Correct.
Truth,
Goodness.
Capital truth. Love, capital love. Beauty, capital beauty. In order to realize what truly beautiful, we have to know God.
Amen.
In order to experience love, we have to know God.
Right.
Apostle Paul, again, tells us that you can have everything in this world, but if you have no, you can move mountains, but if you don't have God, you are nothing. If you don't have love, you are nothing. We can say same thing about beauty. You can move mountains.
Yes.
But if you don't possess true beauty, if you don't possess God in your heart, you're nothing. So beauty is, of course, as a human beings, we know we have our ways of manifesting that beauty.
Right.
But ultimately, beauty is the knowledge of God, is a reception of that knowledge and manifestation of that knowledge to everybody. In my previous life, I studied art, fine art.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting. Where'd you study?
In Ukraine.
Ukraine.
And it was in Ukraine at that time. It was Soviet Union, so it was everything kind of
Postmodern.
No, it was either in best case it was classical, kind of academic, or in the worst case it was socialist realism.
Great!
So
we love
it
that.
was like,
Just a block of wood.
Crazy. But I always was kind of, I don't know. I didn't like this formal things. I mean, for me, I realized that art is called to manifest beauty of some kind, but I couldn't see the beauty in just technically made nice paintings or drawings and stuff like that, or in something that society demanded from me, and I just, kind of be fulfilling the commission or order and stuff like that. That's not, So first time that I started really seeing the true beauty and meaning of that in iconography. And that's what led me further on, but that's beside the point.
I really want to know about that.
My kids, I'll tell you. I mean, and I try to best of my ability to bring up my kids with the knowledge of some little knowledge of that I possessed, very little knowledge of history of art. So we took them to museums and stuff like that. So and I like to take them, especially when in Los Angeles, I like to take them to Getty.
Yes, I was going to say the Getty.
Getty Center.
Right.
And we usually start at the beginning. We start with with the icons, Christian art, 14th century, and then we kind of go through kind of centuries to the. And one upon a time we went through. My kids, they were in their 20s already, and they said so now we're wrapped up, we spend the whole day and we're sitting and sipping on coffee and stuff, and they said good day. How can you describe to me this process that we went through? And both of my kids, they said that it's a history of deconstruction of image. Deconstruction of image. What is image for me? Image is something that God gave me.
Yes.
So the art, first Christian art, was possessed, in a good sense of the word, of knowledge of image.
Right.
They were trying to know the true image of God in us.
Right.
It was iconography.
Right.
Even if you look at pre-Christian art, it was theocentric. It was either really something applicable, applicable art, or it was something about some people didn't understand. So it was like some kind of God-centered.
Right.
All of a sudden, we have Christian art, which is, hey, God Himself revealed to Himself to us, so we now can share this beauty of this image.
Correct.
then all of a sudden, like, there's a switch to totally a human image.
Right.
Forget God's image.
Yes.
Let's look at our own image.
Let's look at us.
Let's look at us.
Wow,
Let's
come on.
Let's look at next step. Let's look at our fallen image.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's look at fallen humanity,
Wow.
like, or creation.
Correct.
You know, we're talking Renaissance, we're talking, you know, Baroque, and all this, you know, medieval arts. Then we had like a little bit of reintroduction of
Yeah.
neo-paganism.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then it goes like totally, you know, from that point it goes to modern abstract and stuff. It's absence of image.
Its absence of image. Remarkable.
It's absence of image. And then it takes different thing. It's introducing the absolute in a postmodernism through like Andy
Exactly.
Warhol, Andy Warhol or what is his name? Also, I love him. It's like
It's all
name skipped.
Yeah.
Anyway, these guys, I mean, it's absence of image and introduction of most self-image, self-promotion. It's absolutely corrupt.
Yeah.
Things of, you know, it's nothing but about money.
Right.
It's nothing but this world.
Right.
Temporal things.
Right.
And it's clear if at least in the medieval times it was hidden,
Right.
now it's absolutely open.
Right.
You know, it's enough to go and buy the vacuum cleaner in a Home Depot, bring it to the gallery and say that it's art. And it's, you know, because it is the name of
Relativism, yeah, it
whatever,
doesn't matter, yeah.
It's like, well, okay,
It could be.
it could be.
Yeah.
You know, other thing, it goes farther. It takes pornography and turns it into art. Pornography into art.
Right.
You know, and that's a fallen human. It's like
I see now.
absolutely, you know, this silent demonic justification of evil.
Right.
That is hides under a name
Celebration.
of art.
Not
Celebration,
even, not even
yes.
justification. It's
Yes.
a celebration. It's a encouragement
Yeah.
of being you.
So
It's just,
that's what we have.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's what the name of the artist that he did it Made in Heaven, used this Italian porn
Carpenter?
star.
Nope.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they did this show Made in Heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically huge canvases of pornography. I mean, like, and of themselves, and they present it as art because it's why it's art, because it's cost money. Tell me, that's a postmodernism.
Yeah.
What is present day art is about?
What it should be about, or was
No,
it like
what it
what
is
actually
about
right now in the
right
world?
now, what is this about?
It's not You're saying it's not postmodernism. When I go to the Broad, because I've been to the Getty, I love the Getty. I've taken my wife on dates there. I love it so much. My house is filled with architecture and
Jeff
icons.
Koons, sorry, artist Jeff Koons.
God happened. There you go. I love it. That was my favorite part of the interview. Yeah. So, but what I look at now, you know, I'm thinking very practical. When I go to the Broad, it is like relativism. It's just, you know, it really is a giant balloon animal that they've made into a sculpture.
Well, that's Jeff Koons.
Oh, great. God knew.
Silver kind of stuff.
Yes, it's just a chrome. Everything's chrome.
It's a kitsch.
Yeah.
It's a kitsch.
Yeah. It's a catch?
Kitsch.
Kitsch.
Kitsch is a kind of like low taste kind of.
Okay. Yeah. Grimy.
but expensive.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like Rolex with lots of shiny diamonds.
Yeah,
Not just simple,
Yeah.
kind of nice because it's nice mechanics, but it has to be shiny.
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. That's what I see today. But I see a loss of even the value of art. Every university I go to, there's just like blocks of whatnot, and they're putting it in the main courtyard, and where it used to be, whether it be pagan or not, at least it's an image of a person, like.
I actually asked that question to one of my good friends who is an architect, and I said, like, what the modern art is about now? And he said, like, about politics.
Yes, you're right.
Give me a question. I mean, like, give me a moment.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take politics. I mean, like, yes, it started with gender issues. Like, okay, it was the end of last century.
Right.
When all of a sudden, like, feminist movement,
Right.
gender kind of stuff, all of this stuff were for... What politics we are talking about? Because politics, modern name politics, is circus. It's not politics.
Right.
It's not traditional politics. Name me now one politician with integrity worldwide. 5 years ago, I was able to tell you who it is.
Yeah.
Now I don't know.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
So if art is about that, what is art about? Art is a God-given ability to humanity to be creative.
Right.
It's how our likeness manifested.
Right.
To God, likeness to God. Because He created, He gave us that ability. So now, all of a sudden, like, we don't know what to do.
Right.
That's silent evil. So, image of humanity is revealed to us, to mass humanity, to mass culture humanity, is revealed to us in a most ugly form of it.
Right.
Through, as we said, like, porn that hides behind name of art.
Right.
And art stops being art. It stops being creative glorification of something great. It doesn't even have a real thing to talk about because it doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. This is ridiculous.
So evil, that's what you said. Yes. It's like to be very subtle, to be very hard, like quiet.
Right.
That's exactly what you started with.
Right.
The big demon talks to little demon
yes.
and tells him to be quiet.
You would love C.S. Lewis so much in the Abolition of Man. In the Abolition of Man, he speaks, and thank you for this. This is remarkable. I'm glad that you studied art, and I'm glad I asked you this question. In the Abolition of Man, written by C.S. Lewis, he's addressing the destruction of beauty. Because he says, if we, and I'm going to sum it up, not adequately, but the Abolition of Man's like, if we take beauty and change the definition of what that is, there comes our destruction, and it comes very soon. Because beauty isn't just something that's good. It's transcendental. You're familiar with the three transcendental values, truth, goodness, and beauty. When C.S. Lewis, again, I think you would really, really, really love to talk. I almost said talk with him. Read him.
Talk to him.
Talk to him. So he addresses beauty, not specifically. I think that the one book that he really hones it on is The Abolition of Man. But he has other works. He was a lecturer. He was a professor at Oxford and other schools and whatnot. And all this being said, Lewis, he says, we as humans are searching for beauty because it is something, like you said, image, which was given to us by God. So beauty, truth, and goodness are attributes of God that He's given us. And he actually goes down the line, and in Peter Kraft, he does a good job, a man who also is not only familiar, but has a deep admiration for C.S. Lewis. And I honestly love reading Kraft on Lewis. So if you're ever interested, Peter Kraft on Lewis, anything he does is just remarkable, because it almost like he knew him. Again, all this being said, Lewis says the beauty that we desire, because it's given to us by God, and again with Kraft's help, we are constantly desiring for it. We're trying to put context to it. But the demonic, and this conversation's been utterly wonderful, the demonic being hidden pulling the strings as almost an evil politician pulling the strings in the shadows, unseen. There are ignorance and naivety. The demons have been able to not just take apart beauty, which Lewis warned about. Lewis warned about 100, really 80 years ago, 50 years. It's just remarkable. It's almost like a prophecy. Some people like to call Lewis a prophet of sorts. They're being cheeky, but it's not entirely incorrect. The demonic has skewed beauty into nothing. And, Dostoevsky, he talks about how beauty would save the world and how beauty is vital because it is God, it is Jesus Christ. Because when I was introduced to beauty through the Passion of the Christ, iconography, moving iconography. What is a movie? It's moving pictures. So I was watching images like through stained glass. I was watching Christ being crucified. It was the moment that I encountered the beauty that I was saved. And that beauty is the image of God. And of course, the Incarnation is the fullest image that we can see now. Wow.
Nice conversation, man.
Yes, amazing conversation.
Only one thing that is missing here, it's coffee.
Yes. I want to go to the Getty with you and walk through and have coffee. That sounds like a remarkable day. I would love to.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
all right.
Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
Yes.
Come for liturgy sometimes.
I will.
Too. You'll see a beauty.
Okay.
You'll see a beauty.